Hey, everybody, welcome back to Energy Healing Lifestyle Journal. We're on Self Care Challenge Day 13, talking about alignment and the third eye chakra and getting into observer mode. For those of you who don't know me, I'm going to start reintroducing myself. My name is Robin Knott, and I am your host of Energy Healing TV and podcast on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify, and the founder of the EnergyHealingSchool.com. I'm a certified Reiki master teacher and have a Master of Social Work degree specializing in mental health and addiction treatment. I'm here to teach other empathic healers Usui Reiki and other energy healing methods with a strong focus on self-care, self-worth, and self-love without feelings of blame, shame, or guilt. Hence this self-care challenge and this journal, because healing starts within, right? Starts with us. So oftentimes, I don't have to tell you, but for those who might just pop on and listen for a moment, as empathic healers, we tend to get burned out and we get overwhelmed and we might feel anxious, and we might feel depressed, and we feel like people are just sucking the energy out of us and we're carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders and we want to fix everything. Yeah? Breathe. Boundaries, protection, releasing what no longer or what isn't ours, and then what no longer serves us as well. But again, doing this self-care challenge, doing this journaling process, whether you're writing it pen to paper as I do. So here's just another picture of my, or not picture, but quick shot of, not that you can read that, but my journal. And for today, and I like to use the color pen, right? Except for the yellow gets a little tricky. Use black for that. But got my darker blue pen for the third eye chakra. Again, talking about alignment and observer mode. I didn't have a lot to share today, but what did come in as I was doing my journaling, and I couldn't remember the name of the effect. Like, I've heard of observer effects, and then I did again some search, and there's some different perspectives, depending on what area of science or that you may look into. But the Hawthorne effect was the one I was thinking of, and I remember learning of that in school as well. And it talks about when we are being observed, so when humans are being observed and we know it, like we know someone's watching, we act differently. So if you think of a kiddo for a minute, if you put a camera in a kid's room, right? They might be horsing around and goofing around and just feeling free to play as they wish. However, if they knew the camera was there, they might feel a little bit differently and they might play a little bit differently and they might talk to each other a little bit differently and have that thing like, are they watching? Right? Same idea. So even like work, they did examples for people in workplaces or other different types of studies where they just watch people, but people knew they were being observed. It's almost like that you're coming up if you're working like what we call a 9 to 5. I know they're not usually 9 to 5, but they're not always 9 to 5. But if you're working for someone else and you're coming up for your, what do they call them now? Not assessment, but evaluation, school, wherever it may be, but you're kind of being watched and you're monitored. Somebody's got the little checklist out kind of thing. Are they meeting expectations or exceeding expectations? So on and so forth. So we act a certain way because of that. You're driving down the road, just like there's all kinds of examples we could think of, right? Driving down the road, I might be going a little bit over the speed limit. I see a police officer and I'm like, oh, foot off the gas pedal, slow down a little bit. Don't really want to waste money on a speeding ticket, right? You guys could probably think of some other ones, right? On camera, here's another one. How many of us want to show up in our icky moods and get on camera and be like, ugh, right? We show up and we want to be smiling and we want our energy to be clear and we want to present ourselves in a decent way when we're on camera, kind of thing, right? Yes, stay authentic, but don't project out all the grossness because we know we're being watched or observed. So, with that being said, what really clicked in with me then is like, okay, so we talk about getting into alignment. I talk about in the journal, in the Energy Healing Lifestyle Journal. Self care If you spell that out for an acronym, today is the letter A in C.A.R.E for alignment. And when I speak about alignment, I'm really focusing on aligning with the source of unconditional love, right? I'm not trying to get stuck in humanness because my human is kind of heavy and gross, right? And critical and judgy and like icky. So I want to align above that. I want to align in the energy that directly comes from the source, God, source, creator, the source of unconditional love. Not expecting perfection, not blame, shame, or guilt when I'm in humanness. This is just my gauge, my compass, right? My moral compass, if you will. Am I there? How far off am I? And what can I do to get back into alignment, right? I want to be aware of myself, aware, assess, and align. Be aware of myself, aware of my thoughts, aware of my emotions, aware of my beliefs, aware of my actions. And then that's my check-in point. Does it align with, can I say, and I can't, right? Humanness. We cannot always say that what we say, what we think, what we feel, what we do is always in alignment with the source of unconditional love. No blame, shame, and guilt. But again, compass, right? How we check, how we decide, how we determine, it's what I use. So I have that alignment piece and then observer mode. Again, observing us in a sense with that energy higher above the humanness, above the ego, above that icky, gross stuff that it can get sucked down into with the criticism and the judgments and all the things that humans like to do, right? Human egoness likes to do. And then that Hawthorne effect, when I was looking into that, I'm like, that works for us too. When I am in that observer mode, when I am detached from the humanness and I'm more in alignment with the source of unconditional love, I'm kind of watching. It's almost like you're keeping the ego in check, right? It's almost like I'm laughing because we are all one. It's all me anyway. It's all you anyway, right? But just imagining that separation for a moment, just because there is a difference in the vibration of the energy and the frequency in those two aspects. It's almost like the ego behaves a little bit more. It's not really again, that's humor. I'm saying that in a humorous way. The ego's behaving. It's not about behave or misbehave, but there is a difference. There's a difference when I'm in that observer mode versus when I'm not, when I'm sucked into the humanness. And I call it grossness because in reflection, when I come back up, I just went through this process today. When we come back up into that observer mode and we're like, oh, there's that, right? Owning it. Not the blame, shame, and guilt. Old human ego patterns would cycle that, would beat self up, would add more criticism, would add more judgment. But that's not what we're doing. We're learning how to cut that off, right? Setting the boundaries, starting here. No blame, shame, and guilt, but having the awareness. So now that I'm aware, right? Now that we have the awareness, what is an action step we can do to make a change? That's part of our accountability, right? That's owning our stuff without beating ourselves up with it. It helps us take care of us. It helps us keep from getting sucked down into those icky, heavy, gross emotions that we don't need to be sucked down into. Yes, if it's there, feel it, right? The saying, feel it to heal it. But we don't have to stay stuck there. Who wants to be stuck in that? I've been there. It's gross. You don't have to stay stuck there. Come back up into that observer mode, detach from it a little bit. Again, not avoiding it. We're not ignoring it. We're looking at it, but to be aware so we know what we want to do differently. So when we want to be in alignment with the source of unconditional love, what is an action step we can take to readjust or realign, right? So I just thought that was kind of cool. I wanted to share that. How that too, that Hawthorne effect, I'm guessing, at least in the different pieces I've read, that was not at all what they meant when they did those studies. But it holds true, and I wanted to share that with you. Excuse me. Oftentimes, those things outside of us that we're reading outside of us, again, reflect back in, or we can reflect it back in. If we take the things we see outside of us and look within, we can find how it fits. We can find how we can still use it, right? we can find our benefit in it. And that's what I wanted to bring up and share with you today. So let me check my journal to make sure I covered everything I wanted to cover. If you hop on, feel free to say hello. Let me know how you're doing. Are you in it? Do you find yourself in observer mode? Do you find yourself sucked into humanness, ego-ness, getting pushed and pulled by the emotions or the energy around you? Are you able to detach from those and focus on and ground into your own, being able to tell what's yours and what isn't, and releasing what isn't? That was the other thing, bringing in my acronym of PRAY, protect your energy. And we have to be aware of what's ours in order to protect it, right? Release what isn't ours. Again, have to know what's mine so I know what to release and what to be accountable for, what I need to take care of. And then appreciate the now moment. And that was another thing. I watched a video that randomly popped up in my YouTube feed, and it was that. And it talked about manifesting. It was Dolores Cannon. I don't normally watch her. I've seen some of her stuff, but I don't normally watch her. But I watched this one. And she talked about the manifesting and that relationship with God, source, universe, whatever name you give, and having that appreciation, and in that relationship, making sure we share that gratitude. And I've talked before about building our own energy with the frequency of gratitude and how that can help protect us and protect our own energy. But that made more sense as well, or additional sense, making sure that we share that gratitude, that we see we're aware of our blessings in our life, right? The things that we do have, whether it's everything we want or not, what do we have? Because we could have less, right? So if we have it, have gratitude for it, build the energy of that gratitude continuously, add more and more to it. And again, that is one way to even protect your own energy. And the more we can share that out, is the more love that we can share out, and the more we can help heal ourselves and the collective as well, right? So again, thank you to all who popped on the live. If you've not yet, please check the description and sign up for my first masterclass. My live round is November 20th for empathic healers, again, talking about how to protect our energy, release what isn't ours, setting those healthy boundaries, right? How we continuously protect ourselves because it's an ongoing thing. Be nice if it was just a one-timer, but since it's not, we'll work on how to keep that going, right? So please sign up for that. Go ahead and share these videos. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, that would be great as well. I will see you back tomorrow for, gosh, it's Sunday already, huh? Self-Care Challenge Day 14, and we will talk about receiving and the crown chakra and more of unconditional love. Take good care of you. So much love.